in 1 minute at 2:15, and so we are almost ready. I asked everybody, and those who just joined now, please have paper and pen with you or a way to do something while we're having the session. Remember everybody, this session is practical lessons. It's not me talking for non-stop. We are going to work through using your individual businesses as examples, and whatever we do in each lesson is going to be applicable immediately to your business. So
thank you so much for that, York. So for those of you that have joined us, we're on a masterclass with York Zucchi. It's going to be an amazing practical session, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from all of you. And welcome to our alumni and those entrepreneurs on our existing programs, and those of you that took the call for participation from platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. And I know York's going to be speaking about some of those tools as well. So York, whenever you're ready to start, I'll leave it in your hands. Please use the chat function if you want to pose any questions or comments or suggestions to either York or myself or to each other, as well as you share your contact information. It's all about accessing markets. It's about letting people on the call know who you are, how to get in touch, what do you do. So feel free to use that chat function. We will save that chat as well, and happy to share that with everyone that's registered, so everyone has each other's information.
awesome. And I would like to add, look, I'm looking at a screen right now that has everybody's so it's like a collage of pictures. So if for those who would like to have the video on, just make sure you're on mute. But if you'd like to put your video on, it would be wonderful for me. And then I can see your faces and not just the profile picture. And it makes it so much more enjoyable for me to look at you, to look at all of you. Okay, Jayshree, are we ready to rock?
Absolutely, York. The ball's in your court. I've got my pen and paper ready too, and I'm looking forward to participating in the session with everyone else. So feel free to switch your videos on. If you then struggle with any bandwidth issues, we'll ask everyone to switch their videos off. But for now, as York said, feel free to switch those videos on so York can see you as well.
Awesome. Okay, everybody, let's kick off. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to this masterclass on 14 unconventional ways to find clients, especially during COVID influence times. We are going to go through 14 practical lessons, and these lessons are based on our work supporting startups and small business in over 83 countries. We have done a lot of research, we've done a lot of practical implementations, and these lessons are really the things that actually work across the board. Almost the lowest common denominator in the access to market challenge. I'm going to be talking for 1 minute about what does access to market mean and why so many of us struggle with finding clients and generating leads. And I'm going to show you today, the aim of today rather, by the end of today, is you have 14 things that you actually did today that are starting to generate leads. That's my output. This is not a theoretical masterclass. I'm not here to impart wisdom where you go, ooh, that's interesting, but I don't know what to do tomorrow morning. This is a highly practical masterclass, and it's intended to help you find clients. So on that note, what is access to markets? Access to market is a very fancy way of saying finding clients, meaning the challenge that we've seen all over the world with people, including you, including me, it doesn't matter who it is that you are here in this circle, in this community, in this little network, whether it's your church community, an incubator, a co-working space, a coffee shop, people who live in Benoni, in Pretoria, or in Amsterdam, or in Frankfurt. It might be a network circle of ex-bankers or accountants or lawyers or doctors, it doesn't matter, or people in the construction industry. You are in this circle, okay? And the person who is discussing the opportunity is in another circle. So let me give you a practical example. Maybe you are an interior designer and you are in this circle of friends and people you know, and the client who is refurbishing a restaurant is in this circle discussing it. And you are here and don't have access to that opportunity because you're not top of mind. You don't have a mythical foot in that networking door. That's why we often say that the access to markets challenge is really an access to networks challenge. For those of you who are living in South Africa, you'll know this, especially in the businesses located in the township. They're often excluded from a lot of the opportunities that people who work, for example, in Centum have access to because they are not top of mind. They are not present in those discussions. So in the lessons today, I'm going to show you some wonderful practical tricks how you can have your foot in the door in hundreds of different circles, networks, so that when an opportunity arises, the probability that they will call you or contact you is that much higher. And I'm going to show you how to do this and set this up in a way that doesn't require you a lot of work on a continual basis. And that doesn't require you spending a single cent. One of the things that we saw in our work is that the most successful businesses who succeeded in finding clients didn't actually spend a lot of money. They just invested in the right things. So let's start
York,
it. So yes.
sorry to interrupt. I'm getting some sort of feedback.
Okay.
And I've received some, yeah, it's gone now. Let's hear you.
Okay, is it better? Is that still there's humming sound in the background?
Yes, there's a slight humming. It's not as bad as it was.
Okay, guys, I do apologize. I promise you for the next masterclass, I'll get a better laptop. My home laptop is a semi-ancient dinosaur machine powered by pedals. Okay, so let's start with lesson 1. Everybody, I am going to share with you now. Whoops, a second, I shared the wrong link, so give me a second. I want you all to open LinkedIn. Now, you're going to have to trust me. We're going to do the exercises on a practical level, and then I'm going to explain to you why this exercise is so important, okay? So let me share my screen. 1 second. I want you all to open LinkedIn. Let me go here. So go to this profile, please. Jayshree, I apologize that I'm using your name, your good name. I'm going to try not to tarnish it too much. So everybody click on the link that I just shared in the chat, and then I'm going to show you what to do. Okay. So everybody, you're going to see my screen in a few seconds. And you see that I have Jayshree's profile, LinkedIn profile open. Now, the first lesson that we are working on is called Leave a Kind Word. And the best part about this, I'm going to show you how to generate leads on a perpetual basis by only spending 2 minutes once off, okay? So this is what we're going to do. And in the process, also make the world a little bit more friendly. We are going to leave a kind word for Jayshree. Now, if you look here next to her profile where it says more, can you see more? And then you click recommend. And you can choose, if you don't know Jayshree, pick somebody that you respect or admire. It might be an ex-professor, a business person you respect. Then you select, you can say you worked in different, you work with Jayshree, different company. It really doesn't matter. I never understood why LinkedIn asked all this information. Then you choose Jayshree's position, the latest one, CEO of YIEDI. Then you click next, and you can write your recommendation. Now here is a little trick. Now Jayshree has a lot of contacts, a lot of people who look at Jayshree's profile. Now this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, and please forgive me if I'm sounding a bit Machiavellian in how we're doing this, but we can write something beautiful. I worked with Jayshree. I'm not going to write the whole thing, otherwise, on a great project for the municipality of where we helped 600,000 startups to access practical blah, 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 blah. I absolutely loved working with her professionalism, etc. Do you see where I'm going with this? What I want you to do is use Jayshree. It can be one sentence. Even if you haven't actually worked with her on a specific project, it could be something of, I recently attended one of Jayshree's online classes and was blown away by my spelling mistake, by her, by the way she explained, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. You see where I'm going? It doesn't have to be that you have necessarily worked with a person. You might send a vote of thanks because you admire their professionalism, you admire the work that they do for others. But when you do this, and when you press send, Jayshree is going to get, I'm canceling it now, but Jayshree is going to get a notification to approve that recommendation. Now, what happens when you do that? Your recommendation will be on Jayshree's profile. Now imagine, for example, my LinkedIn page gets between 2,000 and 6,000 views a day. Now, not everybody scrolls all the way to the bottom, but now if they do, they're gonna find your name and your company's details at the bottom of Jayshree's profile. Now, that doesn't mean we should all be fake, but this is a wonderful way to have your company and your name on the profile of prestigious people, professors, lecturers, business people, potential clients. You could make a statement about how much you admire the specific work in the field, or how you enjoy the way they teach, or how you admire the person's history in a specific. But you want to share it, if possible. If you did work with that person, you want to share something that shows other people who read that recommendation a little about the work that you do. If you remember, when I wrote the first statement, I said, Jayshree and I worked together on a project back in 2018, helping startups in a specific community get more whatever, or grow, or start their businesses. I really enjoyed working with Jayshree. Now, what I've done there is actually shared with the world a little hint about what kind of projects I work on. And now that little hint is on Jayshree's profile. That means anybody who scrolls down Jayshree's profile and goes to the section of recommendation, and believe me, it's quite a few, will see your profile, your words right there. And that is a very powerful way to create leads. That's a very powerful way to have your foot in the door of different people's social media profile. And I guarantee, if you didn't say nonsense, if you didn't write bullshit, if you wrote something that is heartfelt, that is honest, and that is not too spammy, I promise you Jayshree will accept that recommendation. So would I, so would all of us. So now, okay, by the way, I'm going to try to... Okay, guys, can you hear me better? Is it less interference? I just unplugged my headphones.
There's still some interference, York, but very similar to what it was before.
Let's see now. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to move a little bit closer to the laptop. My sincerest apologies for everybody. Okay, so I want you to now do that. If you've forgotten how to do it, let me share the screen again. Remember, on the LinkedIn profile of Jayshree, or whoever you pick, click more, and you select the recommend button. So you click more and select the recommend button. And I invite you right now to just write one sentence or something that you appreciate about Jayshree, the work that she does, her passion to help and introduce people, her amazing work she does in the entrepreneurial landscape. Now, in lesson 3, I'm going to show you how to take your profile into and turn it into a much more converting profile. And I'll explain to you what I mean just now. But right now, I'm inviting you to write a quick word of appreciation for Jayshree or for whoever's profile you have. And spend every day, find when you listen to somebody's class or workshop or webinar, or maybe you had coffee with somebody, write a kind word. It's beautiful. Yes, you could write that kind word also on WhatsApp or in an email, but then it doesn't serve you. That kind word will not be working for you. And these recommendations are like employees. Once you've written them, once you've shared them, and Jayshree has accepted it, that recommendation is going to work for you 24/7 in generating leads for you and your business. And I'm going to show you just now why and how that magic works. But that is something that is incredibly easy to do, makes you much nicer a human being, and just has more. I see, hold on, I see the chat. No, you can't do it on contacts you're not currently connected to, I think, but try it. But you know what, in these days and age, it's not difficult, Randani, to connect to almost everybody. LinkedIn is not Facebook. People on LinkedIn, generally speaking, accept almost every connection request. Now, that comes with the caveat that if you're trying to message Richard Branson or Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, they are not going to accept your request because they are, first the platforms are managed by somebody else. But also, can I be honest with you? I'm going to talk later in the lesson about who your clients are. You don't want the Bill Gates and Richard Bransons of this world. You want the people who are going to be real clients of you, not the one where another 10 million people are trying to knock at the door. And I'm going to show you some tricks on how to find the right kind of clients. I hope that helps, Randani. So, are you guys all writing something beautiful? And that's why I like to see you. I can see Adi, the video of Adi. Put your videos on, guys. Hi, Avela. I can see you, Avela. Wonderful. So I can see if you're actually working on something. Hey, Chipo. I hope you're doing your LinkedIn recommendation. Nankonde, I see your head and headset. Hi. Hi, Shadrach. Hi, Paula. Okay, so nice to see everybody. It makes it so much more fun. I do really miss face-to-face. Hi, Josephine. I see you've had your video on the whole time. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Chris. Love the mustache. Wonderful. I love seeing you. So I miss this. I really miss this. Hi, Yona. Hi, Jessica. Welcome. Awesome. This is much more fun. Okay, everybody. You're not fit for camera, Leah. No. No need to be embarrassed. You think with my hair, I can be fit for any camera. Okay, so we talked about writing a beautiful message, leaving a kind word. That was lesson 1. And if you haven't finished yet, that's okay. Get into the habit every day, every 3 days, once a week, to write a beautiful review. It can be simple, as 1 paragraph, kind word to Nankonde. You say, really appreciate how you engage with me in that class, but if you haven't worked with them. But for example, Paula interviewed me a while back. Paula is from Zurich, currently living in Zurich. And Paula interviewed me for a vlog. And so I might write a beautiful word about, I really enjoyed the interactive style and the engaging way that Paula interviewed me. I was really blown away by what they do in Zurich and the services they provide to a lot of small businesses, and really looking forward to working with her many more times. You see, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it gives you a little hint, it compliments them, and it allows you to park your name on their profile. Now for those, and I have in front of me all your sectors, and a lot of you are in constructions. and a lot in real estate. And for those who are in that business, you'll know the slogan location, 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 right? Now, the nice thing about social media, and especially COVID, is that online location is free. Now you can have a slot on Adi Kaimowitz's profile completely for free. You just need to write a beautiful little reference. Say how much you really appreciate the work he's doing as a virtual actuary and in helping business do analytics and small business to understand their clients better. So you have an opportunity here to advertise on somebody else's profile, to put a sign in the front garden, and they are going to draw traffic for you. That is lesson one, leaving a kind word. Remember, this thing is recorded. So if you missed it and you can't remember, it's okay. You can go back later. We will also share a PDF file with the 14 lessons via email. Jason will do that later. So that's all great that you wrote a kind word, guys and girls. But what happens if somebody now goes to your profile? So the second insight that we gain sounds interesting, but it's not a real statement that taps into my pain point. And I want you all to look at what you do. What is it that you really solve? For example, you want a call to action that says, depending on what your businesses are you struggling, for example, to lower your electricity bill for your business or for your home? Click here to find out how we can help you. Are you a small shop owner that would like to make more money online? Click here to see how we can assist you. You see where I'm going for this? You want the pain that you are solving to be your first call of action. I want to read your profile. And by the way, this top banner, you can use a free tool like canva.com. I'm going to stop for a second. Where is the stop share? So I can type here. Oh, sorry. Canva.com is a free tool that you can use. Sorry, Abela, I just realized I had a piece of paper on the microphone. But so Canva, let's not direct message. Canva.com to everybody. Meeting, there we go. So that is a free tool whereby you can type LinkedIn banner in the tool, find thousands of free templates, and then decide the one that you like the most, change it with your call to action, whatever it is. And remember, guys and girls, for example, if you are a website developer, you do not write, I help create websites. I forbid you to do something like that. If you are a gardening service provider, you don't do gardening services. That is not what you sell. That is not your call to action. What is the pain point of what you really provide? Let me give you some example. And you really are most welcome to write for what you want to write in the chat, and I can comment on that. But if you're a gardening service provider, meaning somebody who makes gardens beautiful, it could be something like, would you like to increase the value of your property? Let me help you make it more beautiful for your potential buyers. So you help them make a beautiful garden. If you design websites, decide who your clients are. If your clients mostly are shop owners, your call to action may be, are you a shop owner who's struggling to sell more online? Let me help you. Let me assist you, or click here to find out more how I can assist you. So that is a short call to action. Coaching services, Cameron. Well, what kind of coaching services? It's too broad in my view, coaching services. It's like relationship advice. It's not painful enough. It's like saying, I'm a restaurant. Yes, but tonight I feel like pizza, tomorrow like seafood, the next day I just want a coffee, or I want a Turkish restaurant, or want an Ethiopian cuisine. Focus on personal, very vague. Cameron, it's okay. It's okay to be vague. But I'm going to touch on just now what it means to know who your clients are. All of us as entrepreneurs think our services can be applied to anybody. And I want you to start thinking much more narrow of who your real clients are. Now, if you've just started a business, that's a little bit more tricky. But if you have been a business for a while, not who you want to be your clients, but who are the clients who really bought your services? Who are the people who really engaged with you when you advertised what you do? Those are your potential clients. I know we all want a multi-level, a Coca-Cola or a Unilever to sign a contract with us. But it's going to be unlikely, especially if you're a small business, to land those deals, no matter how many promises they make or how excited they are about your product and services. Innocent, I'll answer your profile picture cover in a second. But my point here is, guys and girls, I want everything you do to be a call to action. So take pen and paper or write it on your phone. Write what is your call to action. What is the pain that you're solving? I help clients. Are you struggling with this? That's usually a beautiful way to start a call to action. Do you find you're wasting too much water in your manufacturing process? Do you find that your fuel bill is too high? Are you struggling selling your car when getting the best price for it? Do you, on personal development, do you find yourself not achieving your full potential that you know you can achieve? What is your call to action? What is the pain you are solving? And by the way, this is not fixed in stone. If you're going to do it in Canva, for example, you can really create a beautiful banner and try it, post it on Facebook and ask friends, hey, everybody, what you think of this? Post it on LinkedIn and ask people, I'm thinking of replacing my profile banner with this. What do you guys think? Get the feedback from the people. And when you ask feedback, people start engaging with you, and this is what you want. Remember, you're doing something else with this, and this is going into lesson 3. Please, while I'm talking, I want you to write your call to action, and if possible, share it in the chat function. And everybody else, you're most welcome to comment on what is being shared. This is not about York knowing everything. This is about all of us giving feedback to the entrepreneur who comments. So Adi, sit up straight and write it. Chipo, write it, slap it in. Innocent, come on. Jessica is hard at work typing, I think, or writing. So I wanted to write it in. Guys, share it. Thanks, Ashraf. Thank you for the kind words. We'll reply later after the show. It's like a show now. Yeah, maybe I shall do some tap dancing. Guys, by the way, for those who don't understand my sense of humor, very few people know that when you're born in Switzerland, they surgically remove your sense of humor at birth. So if my jokes fall particularly flat, now at least you know. But if you need a toilet break, please feel free. So I help you discover who you, gosh, now it's too far. So Pierre said, I help you discover who you are, what you can do, and discover your potential. So I like that, but reframe it in you're missing out on something. I know you can do more. I know you have potential to be unbelievable. Click here to find out how I can assist you. Something a little bit more missing out. We are not driven by the positive. We are driven by the fear of missing out as human beings. The next one, Adi says, we're here to give you the service you expect from the big firms at a price point far lower. Adi, I get it. That's like the second line of your slogan. But what do you do? What problem do you solve? So maybe we give you the data analytics service you expect from big firms, but at an SME price. Again, guys, and girls, this is my feedback. Remember, test it. Take whatever you wrote and share it and say, hey, everybody, I'm thinking of writing this. What do you think? Let people, you have no idea, all the marketing material that I use in the work that we do with governments around the world comes from the feedback you guys gave me when I posted on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Corrections, changing the sentences. And it's feedback you want. You want to make yourself vulnerable. Leah said, I help small businesses get access to affordable and accessible legal services and documents in Australia and Lesotho using technology. It's not bad, Leah. It's not bad at all. And in fact, I am intrigued, and maybe other people, but maybe change it into something even shorter and more punchy. Are you struggling to access legal services and documents in South Africa? In South Africa and Lesotho, I wouldn't bother. Just write, are you struggling to find the budgets to pay for expensive legal services? Click here to find out how I can help you. Remember, you want them to click on something. And I'm going to show in one of the other lessons, I'm going to show you where that call to action leads to. I'm just going to read two more. Okay, very good. Tagline at the moment from Chipo, helping South Africa's SMEs implement effective digital marketing strategies and create content that cuts through the noise. Chipo, generally speaking, I get you. Again, guys, remember, this is my personal view, but I would go even more punchier. I would say, are you struggling to have your voice heard as a small business? Click here to find out how you can solve this, how I can help you, how through 2 easy tweaks you can cut through the noise. Something even punchier, guys. You really want to cut through the noise. If you need a toilet, please, Chris. If you need a toilet break, please switch your video off first. Okay. Goodness me, that's funny. Okay, guys. Let's see. Pranita says, I help entrepreneurs and small businesses increase their profitability and cash flow through business coaching. Ooh, I like that, Pranita, but you don't need to use a lot of the words. I help you, or are you struggling to increase the profitability? I can't speak. Are you struggling to increase your profitability? Click here to find out how in 3 easy steps we can get you more profitable. You know, those kind of statements. You know, a large company is not going to call you. Department of Health is not going to call you tomorrow morning because you wrote that. So you want to get very punchy. And don't worry if you don't put everything you sold on that call to action. I'm going to show you just now what we're going to do with that call to action. Nice, thanks for the feedback that you're getting, cheaper to others. Jessica, thinking of starting your own business, let me help you. Okay, I like that. But again, fear of missing out, not aspiration, is what sells. So Jessica, are you struggling with starting your business? Click here to find out how. Or 4 easy steps, you know, something a little bit shorter. Remember, we specialize in, so Jeremy says, we specialize, this is the last one, and then I'm going to move on to the next lesson. We specialize in SMEs and help you grow your business by simplifying compliance. Okay, but I would, if you'll allow me, Jeremy, say something more along the lines of, do you find yourself spending a lot of time on back office and compliance? Click here to find out how we can save you time and allow you to focus much more on finding clients and growing your business. Something along those lines. You see where I'm going? You see how I reframe almost everything. Now, guys and girls, I see there's a lot more, but in the interest of continuing, you are most welcome to, and we're going to focus, I'm going to leave a good half an hour at the end where we can relook at these on an individual basis. But you're all very welcome to send them also to me via email afterwards, but you're on the right track. And I want you to be that description that you're going to create on a free tool like canva.com to become your banner on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, your signature, and one of the most, and I'm just going to mention it, and your email signature. Imagine if every single, and I think we can skip straight to that one. Imagine if every single email you send had that signature about your call to action. How cool would it be? It doesn't matter if it's not a business email. We found one of the interesting things, and I just going to just make a note that I'm not going to redo the same lesson later. But one of the interesting discoveries that we found when looking at successful entrepreneurs versus not successful ones in terms of generating leads is that the successful ones were very easy to understand what they actually solve. When you are fancy, and we all want to be important, but when our business title is vice president, co-founder, chairperson, with fancy name and companies and descriptions, if you ask your friends to tell you what is it actually that you do, most of your friends wouldn't know because we've made it complicated. So by writing a call to action and by setting up your email signature so that every single email that you send out automatically has its signature. Now you're most welcome to send me an email. When I reply, you'll see what I mean. Every time I reply, every single person has a clear view of what I'm doing and what I'm looking for. And if you don't fit what I'm looking for, you're not going to reply to me. And that's intentional on my part. I don't need to speak to people I'm not interested in. I mean it in a nice way, on a business level. So I want us to take this call to action and institutionalize it in our tools, whether it's your email signature, your business card, your brochures, your social media. So when I go to your Facebook page, even if it's your private Facebook page, unless you are somebody who is incredibly rich and successful and you don't need to generate leads, I implore you, I beg you to turn your Facebook banner into a lead generation magnet. You don't have to make it cold and too much in your face. You can do something like, for example, you are passionate about who was it now? Forgive me, I'm not going to scroll up, but who was passionate about personal development. Now you can say passionate about self-development and passionate about helping people become better human beings since many years, since 20 years. Or passionate, innocent, passionate about cars and helping people find cars since 8 years by building one of blah, blah, whatever. So it doesn't have to be a sales pitch. But then every single friend that goes to your Facebook profile when you post something is going to see that banner. You are going to brainwash every single person that visits your profile, that receives your email. Even if you are, hey, sorry, I'm 5 minutes late, but at the bottom is your signature. You are going to brainwash them so that they know exactly what you do. Why is that important? Why did I ask you to make what your call to action easy to understand? The reason why I asked you is because if others understand it, they will refer you. When they are, remember, you are in this network and the opportunity being discussed is in another network. If I remember that Glenn, for example, is brilliant at something specific, and I remember very clearly what he does, I will call him and I say, Glenn, we were actually discussing an opportunity. Would you be able to come and assist in this? Is this a project you can take part of? If Rapilan, if I know exactly what he's doing, then it's much easier for me to say, yeah, I remember what he does. But if he had a fancy title, which I have no idea what he does, I go, no, I really don't have time to spend time researching Rapilan, going on his profile, clicking on more, then going to his website, reading, filtering through all the marketing bullshit and trying to figure out what he does. So this is why it's so important to make it easy for people to understand what you do, what your call to action is. But what are you going to do with that call to action? Now, How many of you have website? Just put up your hand, those who have video on. Who has a website? Awesome. And probably a lot of you spent a lot of time designing these wonderful websites. And I'm glad to say, but I obviously haven't seen all your websites. I'm just going to scroll down now. Okay. And I can probably tell you with a high probability that the majority of websites are crap. And I say this respectfully to all the money and time you've invested in your website. I'm sorry about this, but what I want you to understand is that a website is most of the time a wonderful exercise in stroking your own ego. It's not a conversion machine. When I land on a website, and there's a wonderful, I'm going to find it just now. Give me 1 second. So there's a wonderful tool, Unbounce templates. So I want you to look at this company. Don't buy anything from the services. They're way, way too expensive. I find they are really very bad at it. So I'm going to share this now. 1 second. To everybody. Everyone in the meeting. Voila. So keep this for later. But this is 2,500 templates of what great converting websites look like. And you can go by sector, find, and you don't have to look at all of them now. Keep it in your notes for later. But what you're going to find is that almost without exception, these websites have one mission. They're not there to explain your history, why you're passionate about something. They're not there to explain which high school you went to or how important you are. They are there to say, Samu, welcome to the page. I understand that you click because you are struggling to lower your electricity cost. You are struggling to make your business more profitable. You are struggling to generate more sales online. You are struggling to make your house more beautiful so the buyers buy it quicker. I can help you. Here's how I can help you. 1, 2, 3, 4. What will it cost me? It's actually much cheaper than you imagine, and we have different packages and services to offer. This is how quickly we can turn your business around. And these are references from other clients. Click here to send me a WhatsApp now. That is a converting page. You see where you might have a tab about me or about us if you want, but your website needs to be a conversion page, not a website. You want to convert people who clicked on your LinkedIn, who clicked on your Twitter, who looked at your business card. You had a call to action, and that call to action drives people to a landing page that converts them, that filters them. You do not want to have 1,000 emails a day in your inbox from random people who didn't understand what you sold. You want to have 10 emails from people who've read it and said, yes, I want to speak to you. What you sell is actually what I'm looking for. Now let's negotiate whether it's absolutely true and whether your pricing matches my budget. You don't want to be busy. And this is something we entrepreneurs struggle with. We like to be busy. I don't want you to be busy. I want you to focus and have few emails, few calls. And those are the right calls. Those are the right prospects. And this is a problem. That Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, this perception that they created, that likes and engagement and whatever little hearts and whatever else is important. It's not. For example, I'll give you a practical example. We created a number of online courses, and originally we thought, let's load these courses to YouTube. And it's great, we got lots of likes, but then I realized that all these likes are useless. They're good for my ego, but I can't do anything with the YouTube like. What am I going to do with it? I have no idea who liked it. So we converted it to a platform. It doesn't matter which one. It's still free, but now when people sign up, I know first name, surname, email, and what business they're in. Now I can chat to. So if, for example, Samu or Pierre registers to the website and I see who they are and what they do, I can send them an email and say, Pierre, I'm really interested in the services you provide. What kind of projects are you involved with? Maybe we can collaborate. You see where I'm going with this. You want to generate leads. You want to be able to create a connection. So again, it goes back to your conversion page. You have a call to action on your banner, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever. On that, when they click, takes them to a page which explains, now you have a couple of paragraphs to explain your value proposition. And at the end, it's contact me now. Don't fill out a form. You as an entrepreneur, you as a small business, you as a startup cannot afford to put out forms out. You are right now hungry for every single semi-qualified lead you can get. You want the people to have as little resistance as possible to contact you. I'm going to talk about WhatsApp in a minute, but I'm expecting all of you to shift to WhatsApp Business, and I'll explain to you just now why, but we'll talk about it. But my point here is there's free tools where you can really generate a click and it opens their WhatsApp. And most people are going to check your call to action on their phones. So if you have fancy things and beautiful JavaScripts, I know Java is not moving out, but if you have incredible fancy ways, unless you're innocent that wants to convert people to specific, but Innocence has two markets. Innocence has the sellers of the cars, and Innocence has the buyers of the cars. I think, if I don't know exactly your platform, Innocent, forgive me if not giving it due justice. So he might have two calls of action.
But no, don't iron those. That I must put in the fridge.
Look like Indian cake.
No, what is such things that must be framed?
Okay, I'm hearing Josephine. Sorry. Can you just type, because my speakers are not fantastic. Apologies. I think it was you speaking. I don't know who it was, if it wasn't. So my car guy, thanks Innocent. So guys, check out the website and you can see whether it is speaking to you. But he has probably multiple calls of action. If that's your problem, then start getting into the frame of saying, okay, for this specific post, I am targeting. Don't be a generalist. Don't be I'm going to put out a message and I'm going to put out a message and hope to get as many people as possible. For example, I know Paula's work in relationship, in coaching very well. She is phenomenal, what she does. But she does a lot of different programs. And when I see her posts, I go, Paula, stop it. I want you to do a specific post around a relationship problem that one of us is experiencing. For example, are you struggling with your relationship? Are you and your husband or you and your partner? Are you struggling to reconcile? Has something traumatic happened? Do you has the love that you have now morphed into just a co-living space? Click here to find out how I can help you. And Paula might have different converting websites. She might have a landing page for people going through marital trouble, a landing page for divorced ladies. She might have a landing page for single people who are dating. It doesn't matter now, Paula, forgive me, I'm not giving justice to the services you provide. But when you make a post on any platform, when you do a speaking engagement, a workshop, decide what you are speaking for, who is your audience, and then create a landing page that speaks to that specific audience. Now, there's a lot of free tools, by the way, you can do for creating landing pages. Google site is amazingly easy to use, and it's completely free. My website, let me show you, yorkzucchi.com. This is my personal website. It's completely built on Google Sites, doesn't cost me a single cent. You can do WordPress. I personally don't like WordPress. I find it very complicated. It's expensive to set up because I'm usually too incompetent to set up all the plugins. There is Tumblr, I think, creates amazing websites. There's a lot of free tools. If you have other examples, please do share them. But I don't want you to pay a single cent to create these landing pages. Define, and we can go into this lesson now, define exactly who your clients are. Now, I want you to take pen and paper, and I want you to draw 5 circles. 1 second, I'm going to show you what I mean. Circles like this. It doesn't matter in which order they are. I drew them like this. I don't know if you can see them. So I just drew 5 circles. It doesn't matter how big. You take a whole page or half a page, draw 5 circles. Okay, now I want you to tell me in each circle, write the first name and surname of a client you have. Just one circle, just one circle. If you don't have any clients, okay, then imagine who it would be. Who is your exact client? If you think, not an imaginary client. I want you, if you think Jeremy is the right client for you, or Jessica, or Josephine, or Mandla, if you think he is the person who would be a perfect client, then write his name or her name. Okay? Now, below the client's name, I want you to write what they do. Who are they? Maybe they are a procurement officer. Maybe they're small shop owners. Maybe they're somebody who's having marital issues. Maybe there's somebody who's trying to sell his car. Who was the client? Who was the individual? Excuse me while I blow my nose. COVID. Just kidding. Sorry, a bit of humor, guys. A bit of humor. No. Nobody's laughing. Cool. All too serious. So I want you to write what that person does. What was the client? Innocent. The person you sold or who listed their car. Innocent, that person. So if Pierre listed their car on your platform, my car guide, I'm just assuming here, forgive me. Then you write Pierre van Schal. Sorry, I only see 3/4 of your name, so help your full name. Pierre van Schal.
Pierre van Schalkwijk, yeah.
Oh, thank you. So Pierre is your client, and Pierre was a car buyer or a car seller, okay? The other circles, I want you to find another client. If you've had a client who doesn't have the same need as the first client. So give me the name in another circle of Paka, I don't know if I said your name right, or it's 2 pages. Or sorry, I missed everybody on the second page. Maybe it's Kerry, Hope, maybe a Sanjay, maybe a Samu, Wandile, or Leah, or Tuba, or Tuneka. So I want you to write down in another circle the name of another client that you had or that you want to pursue. And then below that, write who they are. They were having marital problems. They are a single mom. They're a divorced person. They are a car buyer, car seller. They are somebody who is struggling with compliance. They maybe are somebody who struggle with admin, with invoice, with collecting, with building houses, with whatever it is. And this exercise you're going to do for all 5 circles. So I want you to think of the other circle. Who are your other clients? And I want you to give them a first name and a surname. If you don't remember the surname, it's okay. But don't assume. And this was a challenge that we saw with so many entrepreneurs that were not successful. They assumed who their clients are. And yes, all of us think that everybody can be a client. And to a certain degree, it's true. But when you speak to everybody, it's obvious in your communication that this is a vague statement that doesn't hit home. If I'm not aiming, some of you who play sports, has anybody played soccer? You all know, okay, so I see a couple of hands going up. So thanks, Nielsen, thanks, Adi. So you play soccer. If you hit the ball randomly in the direction of the goal on the other side, it's going to go nowhere, or the opposing team is going to catch it. But usually in soccer, you're looking at who to pass it to. And I want you to become a soccer player of entrepreneurship. I want you to kick that ball, that message, to that specific person. not to a random person on the field. So I'm going to drink a little bit of nice hot water with lemon while you are continuing. By the way, 5 circles, it's not relevant. It can be 8 circles. It can be 15 circles. Okay, you got the exercise, you understand, and you can continue as well later. But what I want you to do is for each one of these circles, you are going to create a custom landing page that converts people. Remember, your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile or your email signature, doesn't matter now, is going to have a call to action, a short sentence that says, are you struggling with compliance? Are you struggling in your relationship? Click here to find out how I can help you. That's going to lead to a website where it's a one-pager, and I shared with you 2,500 templates. You can find the one that you go, oh, I like that one. And by the way, don't buy services. These are, you create your own, and doesn't have to be difficult. And I'm going to show you a trick what I did with my website right at the end. But my point here is you create it. It really will not take you long. I often find that creating them on paper is much easier than creating them online first. So I write, hey, Jeremy, welcome to my site. I understand you're struggling with reducing your electricity bill, ? Let me see how maybe I can help. I've helped over 600 businesses, 20 businesses, 11 businesses. I spent 8 years helping businesses. You can dress up your lack of experience by incorporating it with experience you had by working with somebody else. Doesn't mean you as a startup. You could have been working for Standard Bank for many years and left to start your business. That experience counts. So you can say, I've been around the block for 16 years. Let me see if my 16 years of helping businesses can be of assistance to you. You're going to create a landing page that converts for every single one of the circles. It may take time, so please focus on the circles where you think those are the real customers that you want to buy. And you're going to write that landing page in a way that is speaking to Paula, that is speaking to Mo Gomozzi, forgive me if I pronounce, or Rudeshini, or Milisani. God, I love these exciting names. So I want you to speak to that individual. You're not speaking generically. And at the end of that call to act, of that converting, of that landing page, at the end, it's a WhatsApp, contact me now to explore if we can work together. Click here to see how we can talk. If you don't want WhatsApp messages, click to email. Google Sites allows you to create a button, and if they click on it, it opens the email program, and with your email already in, and they send you an email. You want to get them to start sending you messages. And your reply is going to be one where you say, Cameron, thanks so much for sending me a message. I understand this is what you're looking for. How can I help? What are you busy with? Or you can call them immediately via WhatsApp, doesn't cost you anything. You want to get to a yes as quickly as possible. People will become clients once they build a relationship. And this is the next point. How many of you, question to all of you, how many of you, by a show of hands, have watched The Wolf of Wall Street? The movie Wolf of Wall Street? Only 2 people. It was far more popular than that. Okay, how many of you, okay, a couple of people are writing yes, okay, Wolf of Wall Street. See, there's a thumbs up button on thing. Cool, that's good to know. Okay, I see Fatim, also thumbs up, cool. So a couple of you saw The Wolf of Wall Street. Some of you don't know where the button to say yes is. I didn't know. Now, it doesn't matter what you think of Jordan Belfort, who's the character after which The Wolf of Wall Street is based on. But he wrote one of the best books on sales. It doesn't matter if you read it or not. It's called The Straight Line Method. And the reason The Wolf of Wall Street was so successful in scamming so many people and investing is that he figured out the psychology of sales. If you look on a spectrum of sales, you have no's as in somebody who says no, not interested. And you have people who say, yes, I'm ready to buy. Where do I click to buy? You don't want to go after the people who say no, okay? You want to go after everybody who's just a little bit east or west, depending on what the screen is showing, of no. And you want to get them on a journey of converting them to a yes. Now, nobody ever goes onto a website, onto your call to act conversion page, and becomes a customer right away. The idea, how many of you are married or in relationships? Actually, how many of you are married? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I see about 10, but obviously that's only the people who are clicking in the right. Chris, you've been married 43 years. That deserves a round of applause. Good. You were married, Daphne. Okay, apologies. Maybe you should, don't forget to call Paula. Just kidding. Sorry, guys. Sense of humor is terrible. So, when you got married, did you walk up to your potential partner and ask him to marry you on a first date? Did you see them at the party and say, hey, do you want to get married? No, it took a bit of relationship building. You got to know them, they got to know you, and you started building commonality. You started testing each other out. You went on more dates. You started experiencing life together. Chris, exactly, it took a lot. And so my point here is closing a sale is the same as getting married. Now, obviously, if you're selling bananas on the side of the road, the person already wants a banana. Now, they're not going to try to get to know you and spend time asking about your background. There's a banana, they're hungry. You have a service you can provide by selling bananas that solves their hunger. And so what we're trying to do isn't when they send you a WhatsApp, when they send you an email, stop this rush to close the deal immediately. The more we as startups, the more we as entrepreneurs show our desperation to close a deal quickly, the more a client will be scared. You want to persuade the client that you have the right product or service, that you are the right person to speak to, meaning you have experience, that can trust you, that the outcome of this business relationship or transaction is going to make them look good. But you want them to actually come to you and say, okay, I'm actually ready to buy from you. I want this product. How much? And you say, well, you know what? Normally it's 8,000 Rand or 1,000 Rand or 800 Rand. It really doesn't matter what the amount. But for you, if you buy it this week, and because you are you, I'm going to give you a 30% discount. I'm going to give you for 500 Rand. Click here to pay. You see where I'm going. So not only you want people to come to you and actually be at the point where they say, okay, I need it, how much? And then you're going to give them a good deal. Because in this day and age, you've seen it in shops. There's a sale almost constantly. There's a special discount. There's a buy now. You want people to be also thankful that they're getting more. You might say, actually, remember to, when you do your cost of sales, when you put your pricing strategy, incorporate that discount already into your pricing strategy. So you wanted to sell for 500. So you advertise for 800. And then when you, York and Ade are talking, or Alex and York are chatting, and it seems like we're making traction, Alex, I can say, listen, Alex, I know we're having a chat around the services that I provide, but right now I actually have a special for the next 2 weeks, and instead of 1,600, I can give you the product as 1,300. Would this be of interest to you? And now they say, no, not yet. I'm not ready yet. Okay, but now it's a hot lead. They're sitting on the stove. They're slowly being cooked. But you didn't kill by saying, okay, come, I'll sell it, take it or leave it. You just made a nonchalant offer on the side. This is what I want you to do when you start chatting. When somebody clicks on your website and sends you a message or a WhatsApp, and you start engaging with them, you're not trying to force them into a sale. They're not ready yet. This is why so many people back away. You want to be gentle. You want to build relationships. And of course, for different people, it means different things. But, and this is to the next lesson, every engagement you create, and doesn't matter whether it's a public speaking, a webinar, a workshop, must have your call to action, which leads to a landing page that converts, that leads, now you can measure how many people are going to your landing page and how many people are actually sending you, being converted. And this is something, by the way, you're not going to get right on the first time. You are going to find that you're going to constantly tweak it. You're going to ask friends, what do you think of this? You're going to constantly get feedback, and some people will give you rude feedback, some people not. The way I, for example, when I have a new marketing idea of the things that we do, a new project, I share my project, I share my idea, and I see how many people interact, comment, how many people want to speak to me. For example, I had a post I shared about 2.5 weeks ago that got 11,000 reactions on LinkedIn, and I think 85 comments. I looked at the comments, but what you don't see, I got almost 120 messages on LinkedIn. And I could see, you don't know that if Pranita sent me a message on LinkedIn, I go check out her profile and I can tell, because I know who my clients are, remember the circles, that the chances of me closing Pranita as a to convert her as a client is going to be low. I'm not going to invest much time to her. I'll just say, Pranita, thank you very much for your message. Really appreciate it. But if Rendani is a prospect I want to speak to because he works in a municipality, those are who my clients are, then I'm going to say, well, Rendani, thanks very much for your message. I'm really interested. I looked at your background. I think there's enormous synergies. Are you up for a quick WhatsApp chat or a quick Zoom meeting, 15-minute Zoom meeting to see if we can collaborate? Now, I, at the back of my mind, want to sell something to Rendani, but you didn't hear me say the use of selling something. So this is where we have to pull the handbrake, put our foot a bit off the gas. Of course, all of us are desperate. All of us right now, because of COVID, are on our last rands and cents in euros and Swiss francs. But it's not going to help when you show desperation. You can put a hint where you say, listen, I'm offering 50% off this week, or I have a very special, or incentivize the people, but don't kill the relationship that you are building. So now I'm going to talk about the next lesson. This lesson is composed of 3 things. And this, I want you to write it. I'll write it for you. You're going to learn to make yourself vulnerable. And the lesson is called Learning to Share. Now, a number of you who I follow on LinkedIn are absolutely terrible with the content that you share. Really, it's horrible. I mean, how many of you are COVID experts? I don't think, do we have any virologists here? Okay, I don't see it. And looking at, I have a full list. I spent time looking at the full list of people who are attending today. With the background. And none of you are virologists, yet you're sharing content related to COVID. How is that? If Jeanette shares a post, it may be interesting. You might share a cute motivational message. Maybe you shared a post on about a trip or an interesting article. But how is that helping create your brand? How is that helping people remember what you're good at? So I want you to get away from this sharing everything you find interesting mentality. And I want you to start only to share things that have to do with building the reputation you have in the space that you're operating in. great for you, but don't share that in isolation. You landed a new client, you signed a new contract, fantastic. This is what you did to land the client, so that other people start benefiting from your knowledge. You might have won them over by your service that you provide. You know, it may be whatever the case. I want you to start learning to share things that add value to other people's life. Leave your ego at the door. It doesn't help you. It doesn't create your reputation. Okay, YorkZucchi.com doesn't seem to be working. Thanks, Chipo. I'll check this now. Now, what I want you to write down is you're going to learn to share 3 things, and we're going to do this quick exercise. You're going to learn to share what are you working on. So write, make a space on your page, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Or it can be 3 columns, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter, for the purpose of our discussion. And I'm going to write you, so what are you working on? Is the first one you wanted, oh no, I wrote it to just cheaper, 1 second. Please go to check. Everyone in the meeting, there we go. What are you working on is the first one. Then what are you struggling with is the second one. What are you looking for is the third one. I'm just going to take a sip. If anybody needs a bathroom break, obviously switch off your video. All these serious faces. Okay, guys and girls, we're going to look at these 3 items. Now, a lot of you, now I'm going to speak as somebody who, thanks to McLean Sibanda, about 8 years ago, he appointed me as chairperson at the Innovation Hub of 2 funds that invest in startups. Okay, so these are very often very IP sensitive, meaning there's a lot of intellectual property in what you're working on. And if I can give you one tip, your IP is worth nothing. Now, that's a controversial statement. Of course, your idea is worth a little bit. But actually, the only protection you have in this world is your clients, is your relationship with your clients. Because can I be honest with you, the moment your product or service or solution is online, somebody's going to copy it. But that somebody is not Abraham. That somebody is not Sherwin. It's not Mandla or Paula. Each one of you, especially in this phase of your business, where you are a startup, a professional, or a small business, a lot of the business is around how you implement your solution, your service, your product. It's not the product. You know, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. We buy vegetables. We get fresh vegetables delivered every week at our home here in Johannesburg by a young farmer who grows them here in Soweto. And it's amazing. The prices are cheaper than Checkers. The quality is unbelievable. And the convenience, everybody can grow crops. Everybody can buy them. But this, I have a relationship with this person. After every delivery, she sends me a WhatsApp and says, York, how did you find them? Were the figs good? Was the lettuce okay? I'm never going to change. Even if she raises her prices, I'm hooked on the service. It's not the vegetables. I can find the vegetables at Woolworths, which is for our international guests, a local supermarket. My point here is I buy from her because I love the service. So I'm asking you to not worry too much about sharing what you're working on or your ideas. And now we're going to learn how to do it. I want you in the chat to share what you're working on, or write it down on the paper if you're not too comfortable yet, or you're a slow typer, or you can't switch between Zoom and the keyboard, if you're on a phone, for example. So I want you to share what you're working. For example, I'm currently working with the mayor of the Modimolle municipality on an exciting project to help 15,000 startups grow their business. I'm working with a house on renovating a house in Khayelitsha. Or I'm currently working, let's see, I'm just going to grab some of your businesses. Just mustn't forget that the microphone is right here. For example, there's Simangele, who Okay, now this is, who are your clients? He's a property developer, is it? No, sorry. Sisi Kelele is a property developer. So rather than say I'm a property developer, I'm currently working on a project to revamp the front of a building. I am currently helping a couple to work through their marital issues. I am currently coaching. Don't mention the name, but maybe I'm coaching Jermaine on his inability to handle certain project or to work better or to be more productive. Whatever you do, learn to share what you're working on. Don't share confidential information. Don't maybe share the name of a person or the client. You can speak in generic terms. I'm currently working with the municipality to help them implement a strategy too, or whatever your business is. Let's see, I'm looking for another example. So, Corona blockchain, start manufacturers, and we're currently building our solution. Okay, for example, solidifying unit economics and customer acquisition metrics to make predictive insights. This is Sabelo Sibanda from Tusi Application. Okay, so share a project, a client you're working on. What are you doing with them? And this you can do on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can do it like this. Hey, everybody, I just wanted to share some of the things we learned from a project we're working on and I'm sharing this in the hope that it will help other entrepreneurs. We engaged with the mayor of a very large municipality to help more small businesses go online. And here's the 3 things that we learned. When you share what you're working on, you're actually doing something subconsciously. You are helping others understand what you do. Because another mayor will look at that. Somebody who is in a marital situation or challenging situation will go, ooh, I'm also that person. I also find myself with that problem. I need to speak to Paula. I need to speak to Abraman. I need to speak to Vijay, Fatim. It doesn't matter. But when you're sharing what you're working on with 1, 2, or 3 lessons, and then we can be high-level lessons. For example, if you're an architect, you might say, we recently finished building a house in Deep Sloot or in Centon, it doesn't matter. The house value was 500,000 or 5 million, it really doesn't matter. And here's the 3 things that I would advise anybody renovating the house. 1, spend much more time on scoping the project than you think is necessary. 2, spend a lot of time preparing your budget so you can pre-purchase all the things that you need. And 3, I don't know, it doesn't matter now. But by sharing those 3 things, you are making it easier for people to trust you. Secondly, by sharing the fact that the house is worth 5 million, 500,000, 50,000, it doesn't matter the value, you're now profiling who your customers are, and those are the customers you want. So for example, I see here that Innocent, yes, Innocent, you pitch up everywhere here. So Innocent is motor spares and so forth. Now Innocent can share about the stories of how somebody sold a car on his platform, if that's what it is, successfully. 1, they had great pictures, and great pictures mean from a specific angle with good light and sunny condition. 2, they showed what the faults of a car were straight away, which made people trust the car more and not doubt the potential seller and whatever. That's what I want you to learn about sharing what you're working on. And please feel free to type it if you want, and we can comment on it. The second thing, share what you're struggling with. Now, this may sound counterintuitive. We entrepreneurs have to be all important. We have to be infallible. We have to be like nothing is wrong. And can I be honest with you? If you're an entrepreneur, unless you started today, you know everything will go wrong in your journey. Almost nothing will go according to plan. everything will take longer, including converting leads to clients. Funding will hardly ever materialize. Your plans are a roller coaster, and that's okay. That's part of the entrepreneurial roller coaster. But when you're sharing what you're struggling with, something happens. Now you can share it in a bad way and in a good way. So I want you to write down what you're struggling with. For example, I'm struggling to collect, I'm struggling with invoicing clients. I'm struggling to find an easy payment solution for people to buy on my platform. Or I'm struggling with helping clients or delivering on a solution or delivering the bricks that I manufacture in faraway places. Or my point here is that when you're struggling, when you are sharing what you struggle with, you don't have to say, I'm struggling with raising funding or I'm struggling with paying the bills. I'm not talking about those struggles, which are real, of course. I'm talking about with struggles, parts of your business delivery, part of creating your startup, which you can share with others. Hey, everybody, I'm trying to create the world's biggest online learning platform, but I'm struggling to decide which platform is the best and most cost effective at the beginning stage of my journey. Or I've got a wonderful, let's say Paula, because I know her services. I've got amazing content. I do incredible work, but I'm struggling to find a way to scale my service delivery in a way that doesn't require me one-on-one. Has anybody else encountered similar struggles? Now, when you make yourself vulnerable, you are actually humanizing yourself, because what people often forget is in the sales, when you're selling B2B, you're selling it's a misnomer. No business buys from another business. There's a human being that buys from another human being. And we forget we write these crap emails, these proposals that sound so formal, like, shit, are you writing to another human being? Make it personal. Speak. If Pierre wants to write a proposal to York, say, York, here's what I can do for you. This is how it's going to help you. This is how it's going to help you. By the way, you don't have to write a 30-page proposal. My proposal for very large projects are usually 1 page long, even lengthy proposals. And then we can put attachments and so forth. I do bullet points. This is how it's going to help you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it personal. Spend the time, unless it's a €5 transaction, but spend the time to make it personal, to show your vulnerabilities. So when you share what you're struggling with, going back to the topic, I apologize, you are making yourself a little bit vulnerable, but you're reaching out and people will start engaging with you. And you might find opportunities to collaborate. This is a separate lesson, but I'm going to incorporate it now. Guys, none of us are going to grow a business by being alone. We have to connect to each other. When I looked at this list of everybody's business, I can tell you, and maybe it's worthwhile doing this together, doing this, Jayshree and I, but I can tell you, many of you can work together. And so I want you to start reaching out to other entrepreneurs to collaborate, to put your solution and package them together. Because maybe Samu is working with a client for which Jeanette has a potential lead, a foot in the door, or Pierre might collaborate with Josephine. And that is a wonderful way to help each other. Of course, it's got to be contracts, and it can be something, a short email. Of course, you've got to know boundaries. Of course, it has to be fair. But when we collaborate, we're now helping each other. And we as entrepreneurs have to stick together. We're a family. The third part is, by the way, sorry, I'm just looking at this, what Nankonde wrote. I'm struggling to multiply myself and support more clients. So this is an interesting thing. So maybe share that as a potential, as a post, and to say, guys, I'm servicing a lot of clients in Nankonde. I'm not entirely sure what your business is, so I don't know the specifics. Maybe you can just write a sentence, and then I will speak to yours. But when we talk about sharing what you are struggling with, sharing also what you're looking for. Hey, everybody, I have a lot of clients who go from Johannesburg to Limpopo, but then my minibus is coming back empty. Or I collect a lot of rubbish in a specific neighborhood or rubble, but it's a one way. So it's sitting underutilized. So my point here is I want you to share what you're looking for. Hey, everybody, we got a new client, but we're struggling with developing. Like, for example, I'm going up, Nankonde. If you, did you write yet? No. Oh yeah, here. I'm an organizational coach. I develop managers and leaders. I can only do so many coaching sessions in one day. Wonderful example. They are, and Paula knows that she set up an online course. She filmed some of the lessons, some of the more, let's say, lowest common denominator lessons. She put it online into a course platform. The course is free, but it's free if you register. And when somebody registers, Paula now has the contact details, and she can write, if Paka registered, she can write an email to Paka and say, thanks, Paka, for registering. If you enjoyed the course, by the way, I also offer these 5 premium courses. Don't send the course don't send that email immediately. That's going to scare off people. Send it a couple of weeks later. So my point here is, take some of your stuff and digitize it if that's possible to do. Share a fact exactly. Share that you're struggling with this and see if somebody has an idea. But create yourself. We live in an exciting world. Almost every solution, technological solution, is somewhere available for free for some parts of it. So this is the 3 things I need you to start doing. Now you can use a tool like Hootsuite. I'm going to write it to everybody. So Hootsuite is lovely, but there's many other. Hootsuite is a social media tool that I think you can schedule up to 30 posts on 2 or 3 platforms for free. Now, for example, I might sit down and with my piece of paper write down, I'm struggling with this, I'm looking for this, I am currently working on this project. Do it one day every 3 months, right? Write it down, type it, load it on Hootsuite, schedule it to Facebook and LinkedIn every 3 days. Don't do every day. Every day is just spam. Every 3 days, let it schedule the post at different times. You do this once, and for 3 months, your lead generation funnel is working for you. And by the way, after 3 months, you can recycle some of the content you used 3 months before. So actually, you don't need tons of content. You can really reuse and maybe just change a picture that you're going to use. But it's a wonderful way to allow to start generating your exposure automatically without you having to be online all the time. Now, what is going to happen? That's all very well that we're doing all this, but what is going to happen when people start replying? Now, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, I'm going to share my screen, if you'll forgive me 1 second. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go to, 1 second, I misclicked. So I'm going to go to mine. I made a post today just to show you what I do. Okay. So I am going to just click away all these wonderful messages. Give me a second, it's loading. So I shared a post about 2 hours ago. It's got 619 views. And the reason I shared it was just as to show you what I'm doing, okay? So I wrote, a great business is built on the back of thousands of tiny, almost imperceptible steps, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. I put a total picture I took, and people are commenting. So when people start, actually, let's take a post which is a bit more relevant here. I mean, that one was a cute one, but let's take, I'm showing you my profile. 1 second. There we go. So give me a second, it's coming up now. So I want to show you what I do when people start engaging with me, how I rope them into my, why is this other posts? 1 second, give me a second. So let's take a post like the one that also aids my profile. So for example, let's see. This is, so 1 second, give me a second, there we go. So this post here got 9,706 views, 186 likes, and 72 comments. So I'm going to click on the comment section, and I got some happy birthdays. That's lovely, but I'm not so interested. But for example, Richard. Richard is a phenomenal human being who works with a lot of projects. So when Richard replies to me, for example, let's see. So for example, let's say Dion. Let's say Dion, business developer at Autonomy Solution. I open Dion in a new tab. I'm not going to look at him. I'm for now, just to save time. I'm going to look at his profile and I'm going to decide if Dion is one of the people who fits into a typical client that I want. If he is, I will reply and say, for example, I Dion, really appreciate your kind wishes. So you are working at Autonomy. Are you guys still involved in the fintech space? I'm looking to find a service provider, or I'm looking, sorry, maybe we can have a quick chat around a project I am busy with. You see what I'm doing? Now, it doesn't matter the text, I'm not going to post it. But what I'm doing, I am using that engagement to start generating real conversations around it. Now, he might reply back, let's assume they're in the fintech space. He might reply back and say, hey, yes, we have some interesting things we're working on. Or he might reply back, well, we are not currently developing any fintechs. However, a client of ours has that solution. Would you like an introduction? And you can Google who the client is, and sorry, how do you stop share? And you can Google who the client is, use that introduction, and now you have a warm introduction to that company. Now, it may be that that project has nothing to do with your current wanting to sell, but suddenly you've created a relationship. Now, if we look back at the Wolf of Wall Street, you've gone from the person doesn't know you to the person being introduced to you. You had a short chat, they're familiar with you, they looked at your profile, they got what you do. The next time you push something, there's a degree of familiarity with your name, which people will go, ooh, this is really interesting. Actually, I want to. Paka, was it Faka? Forgive me, I don't know how to say it. Doesn't matter if you share from a personal page or your business page. Absolutely no, it doesn't matter. In fact, I recommend personal pages. They're much more. For example, I have a LinkedIn business page and I have a LinkedIn personal page, my LinkedIn profile. And I find that people react much more when I post than when the business posts. I often share the same post on two. In the one, I get 200 reactions, in the other, I get 5 reactions. It's up to you how you want to do that. But I personally don't mind if you use your personal post. So I want you to start getting into the habit of replying to comments. Now, the next lesson, is in creating engagement bridges. What we've done, remember, you are in this circle and your clients are in this circle. How do you create a foot in the door in this circle? Now, somebody wrote, I'm just going up there, I'm struggling to hook a whale at Big Five Bank. Well, Jermaine, I don't know what you're doing, so that's too generic for me to do. But one of the lessons that I wanted to cover today is to stop going after big banks or big clients, banks, governments, and so forth. The future of business is B to B to SME. There are far more small and medium-sized enterprises than there are big corporates. And you, as a small business, Jayashree, she spent many years in big corporates, in the last few years at Standard Bank. She knows that as well-intentioned as Pierre's business is, it's unlikely a big bank will risk a reputation on Pierre's business or on Harmony's business. The reality is you are too small to connect to a large client. And I don't mean that you shouldn't be ambitious, but if you're going to wait 18 months, 12 months, 8 months to sell your service and products to a big company, you're going to go bankrupt in the meantime. You're going to seriously struggle to survive. And yes, I know small businesses don't have always the big budgets, but this is where I'm going to merge the other lessons, so we just wrap it up together. This is where I invite you to start thinking about your services, your products, and your prices in a way that small businesses can buy from you. I'll give you an example. Your friend Claudia has a digital design business. She does obviously a lot of space in the digital design, from logos to websites to a whole bunch of things, to campaigns. And she was trying to sell 50, 100,000, 200,000 rand or euros, it doesn't matter now, the currency, packages to big companies. And that's who she was going for. And her complaint was, it's taking so long to sell, to be onboarded as a supplier. You have to go to 10 meetings, 10 PowerPoint presentations, 30 proposals. The background checks on you make it sound like you're becoming president of a country. They are so tedious to be onboarded, and that's not because they hate you, but because their reputation is on the line. If you screw up, if you fuck up, their reputation is on the line, not yours. So they are very paranoid about letting you, your service, your solution, unless it's a small no-brainer thing. So my problem, my issue here to you is, and this is what Claudia did. So let's use Claudia. So Claudia had these big ticket items she wanted to sell. So we had a chat, and now what she's doing is selling much more to small businesses. But still, small businesses are not going to just write a check for 15,000. They're going to go, I don't know if I like what you do, Claudia. I really don't know the quality. Don't you have something that I can buy that is cheap? So she did a mini audit. You can send her a WhatsApp. She has a landing conversion page. Before I find it now, it's going to take too long. But she created a conversion page which sells mini audits of people's websites for 250 Rand. So, and she, for 250 Rand, will spend half an hour looking at your website, and via WhatsApp, while she's looking at the website, give you feedback. The logo is maladjusted, needs a bit of color. Why don't you try this in this combination? Your email, your call of action, the value proposition is not quite great. Why don't you look at doing this? Now, she got paid 250 Rand for that half an hour. So it's not like she did it for free. And if she had 100 of these, guys, there's money in the bank. But also the client got value out of it for a relatively small amount, and started, remember that line where I said you're making the client love you more and more? She started building a commercial relationship. The client started getting acquainted with Claudia's value proposition. And so she started building a commercial relationship, because it's very difficult to go from 0 to 10,000 Rand. or 10,000 euros. So what are you doing? And this I can't help you directly with. But what can you think to make your product or services much cheaper and easier to buy? So you all seen, I'll show you what I did for my website. Let's see if I find it. So I'm just going to scroll over so I can see if you can see it. So can you see that I wrote all the services we provide all the way? It's a long page. And I wrote free, a little bit of 1,000 euros a month, 5,000 euros a month. Okay. Now I sell to big governments, so this is not to you guys. But my point here is I made the free so enticing that if I offered it, almost nobody will say no. But now when the client bought, whether it's free or whether the client bought at 250 Rand or 20 euros or 11 euros or 200, whatever, it doesn't matter what the amount is. You made it so cheap and you give them something. Now they are bought into you. You are having a conversation with them that didn't disappear off the radar screen. This is an opportunity now to upsell, and upsell is always more cost effective than having to spend days, weeks, months to find a new client. Also, guys and girls, don't push to sell as much as possible to one client. You know somebody who wrote it here? Small is big. Chris wrote, better to have 100 small clients than one big one. Yes, it's not easy to get 100 small ones. But have you seen in South Africa that some coffee shops are now giving coffee subscriptions? For 250 Rand a month, you can have unlimited coffees. I think there's a limit. Like every half an hour, you can have a new coffee. And it has to be for you or something like that. I can't remember the fine print. But now this chain of coffee stores knows that York is coming there every month, and he'll buy a sandwich and he will buy something else. This coffee stores knows that even in difficult times, he will have 100 clients paying 250 Rand every month. I know money is coming in. And so I'm inviting you to start chopping and changing your business. And it's not going to be always easy. You know, you all are entrepreneurs because you have expertise, because you have specific knowledge. So maybe sell some of your knowledge. Like, for example, a lot of you are in, give me 1 second, in real estate and manufacturing, in private commercial property. So sell advice. Hi, everybody. I spent the last 9 years in commercial properties. The services that I do are usually for large companies, but if there's any company that is involved in commercial property but needs a bit of advice, you can book me at 150 Rand for half an hour. So give your advice for free, bring in some cash, start showing off your expertise. And after you've done that call, you don't do calls for free, guys and girls, no freebies, even though you're going to get fewer sales. But maybe make it 99 Rand for 1 hour, even if it's only 99 Rand. And for that 1 hour, they have your undivided attention. After that call, you make a post on LinkedIn. Hey, everybody, I just worked with a client. He's a client, or she is a client that paid 99 Rand. And we looked at how they're trying to position their product or service to better meet the needs and so forth. And here's the 3 things we discussed. Well, here's the 3 lessons for other entrepreneurs in the space. I'm starting to invite you to start generating conversations. And remember what I said at the beginning, you're not looking for 1,000 likes. You want 10 people to, even Paula, where she, Cameron, the stuff you do are program related, they're relationships. You don't solve somebody's problem. You don't coach somebody in 1 session and that's it. So for me to buy into Cameron and say, cool, Cameron, okay, I am ready to invest 6 months of my time and 30,000 Rand in you. It doesn't matter what the amount is, or 8,000 Rand program. Oh gosh, Cameron, I don't know if I like you. I don't know if the chemistry is right. So guys, what are you doing to break that jump? Make it cheap, make it easy for people to buy into. Now, what I'm encouraging you is remember to make it easy to convert a client. So if Cameron and I were having a discussion, I really like her content on social media. She says, York, I see we've been chatting for a long time. You know, if you want, I actually offer a 1 hour mini session with potential clients where I help them reposition and explore areas in which they're really struggling with. Now, wouldn't it be cool? And it's 190, it's half price this month. It's only a 250 Rand instead of 500 Rand. I might say, you know what, I'm going to invest and click here. Remember, guys and girls, you want to have a click button. And there's no excuses. There's lots of, whether it's, what's a payment solution? PayPal. PayPal is free. There's so many tools you can use to collect money immediately, to make the click to buy immediate. You don't want to send an invoice and then back for smaller amounts. You want to make it incredibly easy for people to buy and to spend that money, to invest in you. And all of you have expertise and knowledge that you can do something with. Okay, it's going to go back to the lessons. So guys, we are making excellent progress, and we got about 20 minutes left, but you can of course also ask questions. We talked a lot about creating engagement bridges and creating about interacting when people interact with your posts. I want you to start building relationships and discussions. Now, I talked about WhatsApp before, and I want every one of you, if you're still using WhatsApp, to move, it's free of charge, from WhatsApp personal to WhatsApp business. I want you to start touching base much more. I want you, instead of checking Facebook when you're waiting for the minibus to arrive, or when you're waiting for a meeting or having a coffee, start categorizing your contacts on WhatsApp and send them a, hey, Alex, it's been a long time since we chatted. I just wanted to touch base. I was just waiting for my coffee to arrive. I saw your name and I just wanted to touch base. What are you working on? Or, hey, Mandla, I know you I saw on LinkedIn that you're currently busy with I'm curious about what this project is about. You start opening the discussion, and then suddenly you'll see that they are showing interest in you. Because when you show interest in somebody, people want to reciprocate. Why do you think Hare Krishna community gives you free books and pamphlets? Because when they give you something for free, there's something that taps into our human psyche about wanting to give back. Why do we say, how are you, when we're being asked how we are? It's because we are conditioned. And so I want us to start utilizing time. And when, let's say I'm on WhatsApp business, I don't have my phone here. If I have WhatsApp business and Jayshree, and I send to Jayshree, hey Jayshree, I saw that you're doing a lot of workshops around this and this. I'm curious, what else are you working on? And Jayshree says, no, I'm working on a number of projects with a number of banks or institutions. Then I will tag, I can label in WhatsApp that Jayshree is a potential lead. So maybe there's nothing to be done right now, but 3 weeks from now, I go to my WhatsApp, I open the thing, and it has all the labels with all the names of those labels. And I say, hey, Jayshree, it's been a month since we touched. I wanted to touch base again. How did your projects go? I'm currently working with another financial institution we're looking for, or I recently finished a project and I thought maybe there's opportunities to collaborate. Or Paula with the relationship courses. Hey, York, no, that's horrible. I saw you had a fight with your wife. No, that doesn't sound right. It sounds a bit creepy too. I was stalking you on Facebook and I saw, no, but you can do something that is, I saw that you posted this. You know, when somebody receives a message via LinkedIn, via email or via WhatsApp, they react differently when you hear your voice. When you share quick, I'm not talking about the 5-minute message, 30 seconds. Hey, Faisal, I saw that you did this or you shared this on LinkedIn. Do you think there's potential for collaborate? I did a recent project that was very similar. Maybe we can do a coffee and explore, a virtual coffee, guys. I forbid you to meet people for real. I am a coffee addict. I love meeting people for real, but it is expensive because you pay for the coffee. It is expensive because you got to travel there and travel back. So for 1 hour coffee, you lose 3 hours of productivity, unless the coffee is downstairs. So I am telling you from now on, you're going to use what COVID forced us to do. You're going to use technology to do video calls, short Zoom calls. Don't do, please don't do long, hey, how are you? How are you doing? How is COVID treating you? Hey, Pranita, I really liked what you posted the other day. I recently did a project. Do you think it's collaboration potential? Let Pranita speak. Let your potential prospect speak. Now, guys, we're almost coming to the end. I want to talk about your a little thing called the email signature. How many of you send more than 10 emails a week? Okay, quite a lot of hands. Okay, how many of you send more than 30 emails a week? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now 30 emails a week, it doesn't matter if you send more. My experience, and by emails, I'm talking about to friends saying, hey, I'll be 5 minutes late, or here's a document you asked for, or here's a pictures from the latest camping trip. So I'm talking about every single type of email. Your email signature, give me a second. I'm going to find my own email signature and share it. Let's see if I find one. 1 second, everybody. Okay, let's see where it is. Okay, it's going to take a while for me to find it. Is it? Where is it? Oh, guys, come on. It can't be that difficult. There we go. There we go. 1 second. So let me show you what my email signature is. Forgive me. Now I use a Google product, so you can use Gmail. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to share the whole text here. Okay. Now in my email signature, it has the words are hyperlinked. But if you don't have the hyperlinking function, you can just put in brackets. Don't put in the website, you know, that HTTP and all that. You can go to bit.ly and shorten your email and your website or your URLs. But if you see what I just shared, in that short email signature, it looks long in the text there, but in an email, it's at the bottom. It's automatic. Every email I send out, every reply has that. And what you'll see there is you see what I do, what I'm driven by. And I know, remember my target market are municipalities and mayors. All of them struggle with youth unemployment. All of them struggle with small businesses. So then you can click here if you're interested to partner us, or click here if you are just, if Jessica or Tebogo is a business that is struggling, he can click on the link which says click here if you're unemployed or are struggling to start or grow your business. And it takes him to my free online courses academy. So my point here is, oh, you know, guys, shock. I just realized I sent it to only one person. And why is nobody interrupting me? I apologize. No wonder all of you looked a bit weird at the text. Okay, so that one is now you can get a sense that little paragraph, 2 paragraphs, converts. I have an incredible conversion. I get a lot of calls completely out of the blue by organizations that say, we are very interested in your initiative. Can you tell us a bit more? Then I go on the LinkedIn profile, I check out who they are, and I can see whether this will be a waste of time or whether Rudeshini is actually the person I want to talk to. So you see, guys, and girls, how I'm using my email signature. And you set it up once, and it's the same text that I asked you to write at the beginning. Your hook, remember? Right at the beginning, the thing you put on your LinkedIn banner, on your Facebook banner. It's the same text you're going to use there in your email signature. Now, every time you send an email out, it's going to generate leads. It's going to help people remember what you do, and it has to have a call to action. They must be able to click on something to find out more, and you're going to drive them to your landing page that converts them. So that by the time you get that email, you get that WhatsApp, you have a qualified lead. Now, there are other lessons, but we kind of touched on them. Like, for example, we talked about not sharing stupid content. We talked about sharing content that adds value to you as a professional and the services you provide. Innocent will start providing much more articles. For example, here's 3 tips. You can do vlogging, for example. Just like I'm doing now, take your laptop, tablet, or phone, and film yourself, put a bit of nice light, and say, hey, everybody, I was just with a client who was trying to sell his car, and these are the 3 tips that I gave her on how to sell their car more effectively. 1, take a beautiful picture. 2, 3. See my point? That was a 1-minute vlog. And you share that, and that share adds value to others, as well as lends weight to your ability, to your professionalism, to your reputation. You guys have to start learning. We all have to start learning to put ourselves in a box. And I know that's not pleasant. I know we entrepreneurs want to be masters of all. You know, we want to be champions of the world. We really want to be CEOs, chair people, really important, the co-founder, the founder of a fancy company name. Change your LinkedIn profiles, all of the LinkedIn, Facebook, your email signature, your posts. I want you to think of them like they are employees of yours. And every month, I want you to sit down with these virtual employees and ask them, are you really delivering value for what I'm paying? And you're paying. You know, it might just be effort, it may not be money, but it's time that you invest in Facebook. So I'm going to ask you, at the end of April, is Facebook generating enough leads for you? Do you have to fire Facebook? Or maybe you didn't train employee Facebook well enough. Maybe you have to fine-tune your value proposition, your call to action, the logo, the images that you used. Start sharing pictures. All of you work with something. I looked at your things. You know, there's unbelievable. There's a manufacturer, travel and supply of tourism products. Somebody works for Randwater or with Randwater, provincial governments, Department of Education. You work with students, private and public sector. You work with vehicle owners, construction companies. You have so many different things that you do or have experience in. Surely you must have a picture of a building that you renovated. Surely you must have a nice selfie. Like if you look at Jayshree's profile on LinkedIn, she posted, look at what she did very cleverly. And I'm just going to find it without sharing screen. I'm going to send it to you now. 1 second. No, that's on Facebook. Give me 1 second. Look at what she did. Or out of what could be very trivial meeting, okay? And by the way, if you, whoops, wrong person. Actually, I am going to share my screen, but it's a bit more charming. Where's the share screen? There we go. And I'm going to share screen. Now look what Jayshree did. I went to her home yesterday, COVID compliant, for about 2 minutes, and then we couldn't stop at hugging each other. And she posted this. Sorry, my internet is there. Spent the morning with amazing York Zucchi discussing all things entrepreneurship and chatting about the masterclass tomorrow on da-da-da-da. And congratulations. So what did she do? And by the way, here's pictures of me being attacked by her vicious dog. So that's proof. If ever there's a lawsuit coming, there it is. And it doesn't matter if it looks like I'm cuddling the dog. I sustained that the dog attacked me. So guys, I want you to use a meeting you've had for coffee with somebody, assuming it was an intelligent meeting. And then make a post, take a selfie, take something charming. because that person is going to share it in the network. They're going to react. They're going to create engagement bridges. Remember, you are in this network. You shared that picture. They're in this network. They shared it to their network. Now my profile is going to be shared in their network. I just put a big real estate for sale sign onto Jayshree's lawn. When you write a review about somebody, when you endorse them, don't click like. When Pranita posts something, don't just click like. That helps nobody. Write a comment. Hey, Pranita, really enjoyed this post. It really hit home because as I was working with another client in the agricultural space, we encountered a similar challenge. Thanks so much. It's just short reply. But now my name is on her profile. LinkedIn rewards engagement. They don't reward posts. So when you post something and few people comment, it's because that's not how the LinkedIn algorithm works. In fact, it's not even how the Facebook algorithm works. I want you to start engaging with posts. Better engage with posts from people that you want to turn into clients. Start building a relationship. And that is so easy to do. And you can do this with anybody, somebody who did a masterclass today, somebody who did a webinar, somebody you admire in business. Write a beautiful post about them. Create case studies. Guys, this is the last lesson really, but start creating case studies. Remember when I asked you to share what you're working on? Write on a piece of paper, write a list of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yung masterclass.
Somebody's on volume. So guys, my point here is on the list of 10, sorry, I want you just to write one of them, the other 9 you can do later. Write one project that you did. Write a project, a client, you redid a shop, you cleaned up a garden, you built a website for somebody, you worked on an individual to help them become better human beings. Again, write the first name and surname if you remember, and ideally the company name if it's a company. And then in 5 words, write what was the project about. I helped this client, reduce the time they spent on compliance. I helped this client save water. I helped, I'm just looking at the list of businesses. I helped this small business get started. I helped this business sort out the cash flow issues. You know where I'm going with this. So just write it down on next to number 1, where you wrote, just write down what you did on this project. And some of you are probably struggling to remember. If you're just starting a business, think of somebody you can do work for or with to create a case study. So if Jeanette wanted to start a business, she could go to Samu and say, Samu, listen, I need to have some case studies, some references. Can I help you for 2 hours to do this? And can you be a reference for me? So what I'm trying to do for you is you want lots of little case studies. Then for each, and you do this 10 times, maybe do it 20, but in my experience, 10 is more than enough. For each of these 10, find a picture. Maybe you're lucky enough to have a picture of the project you did. Or maybe it's a different picture. It's you shaking hands with Adi in a beautiful building in Cape Town. Maybe it's Rendani speaking to Shelo about whatever. But I want you to find pictures. People, you know this, people react to visual content. Short paragraphs and visual content. And now you have 10 reference points. You have 10 case studies. So when you go to your call of action page, your conversion page, I'm sorry, when you go to your landing page, which converts people, in the section of here's how I helped other clients, you can even hyperlink it. You can put 2 examples. And then if you're interested in finding out more, click here and it takes them to a page where you showcase in boxes 10 different examples of clients, of the hundreds of clients that you helped. I'm just going to my website to show you how I did it. I just realized I gave you before the wrong website. So my private website is this one. I'm going to share it with you. And I'm sharing with you, this was the Google Sites. I'm sharing it to you. This is completely free of charge, okay? It took me not long to create. And then, one second. So let me show you. This is the Startup Tribe. So this is an independent, on the website, okay? This is an independent conversion page. And then I have, for example, if you're interested to know what other project I'm working on, let me show you what I did, is this one here. Now that's all one website, but each page of this, let's call it website, is a conversion page. Some
So
are more vague and some are very
specific. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes?
We can't see your screen. Are you intending to share it?
No, I didn't share the screen. I just shared it in chat.
All right, no problem.
Apologies. Thanks, Jayshree. So I'm just leaving the links there so you can access them in your own time. You don't have to now spend time looking at them. So I want you to really start creating with those case studies, reference clients. And at the bottom, you can say, these is just a short selection of a dozen, of the hundreds, of the thousands of clients we work with over the last 20 years. Some of you from the videos and the profile pictures have been around the block for a few years. I don't mean this as an insult. Also, probably did come across as an insult, and I'm going to kick myself later. But so I want you to use all your years of experience to showcase that you're not a startup. Yes, maybe your company is a startup, but you, Pierre, have been around the block for over 9 years. You, Gugu, have been doing this, or you've been in this space for over 13 years. Ivana, you've been for over 20 years helping people, blah, 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 or you've been passionate about. Let's see if I can insult anybody here. Yeah, Chris Wilkinson is probably the best one to insult. Chris is 76 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So for over 50 years, I've been helping people. And now I've formalized it into business. If you're interested in tapping in my 50 years experience, click here. You see how you are building on your reputation. So guys, girls, I pretty much covered all the lessons. Because it's recorded, you can watch it and Jayshree will share. I'm also going to share a 4-pager PDF, which has all the lesson title and a reminder of what to do with that specific lesson. So you don't have to watch 2 hours of video again and listen to my horrible voice. I think now we can really open it up and have a really chat. Tell me your challenges, put your problems here. Let's make it personal, as they say in business. You know how they say, hey, it's not personal, it's business. My suggestion is bullshit. It is personal because it is business. And we are going to start making it personal now.
Well, thank you so much, York, for that. I think I would echo the sentiments of so many individuals on the line, how grateful we are for all of the lessons you shared. Thank you for using my profile. That was a bit of a surprise. I managed to get a couple of recommendations, which I've read through. I really appreciate them as well from those of you that have sent them through. So we're going to open up the session now for a Q&A with York, anything you want to ask. I'll manage the Q&A. So if you can please use your put up your hands button, and then we'll look to see who, could go first. And we'll take it from there, York, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, perfect. And Jayshree, I think also this is for those who want to go, it's absolutely okay if you don't want to hang around now. I think what I'm going to use this next half an hour, when I go personal, I'm going to keep it short, and I'm going to use your personal challenges as an example for other businesses to learn from. So I'm not going to go, for example, in Pranita's case, I'm not going to go and spend now 10 minutes chatting to her about her. Whatever challenges she's experiencing, I'm going to tap into the fundamental, let's say, disease, not disease, but the symptom behind the challenge, so that it's applicable for any other entrepreneur. So just to let you know, we're not going to now spend 30 minutes on each person.
Absolutely.
But if you need to go, thank you for investing today in us and in yourself.
Thank you, York. And for those of you that are on the line, and like we say to entrepreneurs in every one of our sessions, please use this brilliant mind that you have in front of you while you can, because it's very seldom that we get the opportunity to engage directly with technical experts like York. So if you have any questions, areas of concerns, now's the time to really get him to answer some of those tricky questions. You may have made a note of it while he was presenting. I'm just going to go through the list and see if there's any questions. So York, I see there's some questions on the chat that have been coming through from Adi. York, please give us your view on why startup entrepreneurs should dress smartly and not look like Mark Zuckerberg when attending meetings. The hoodie look actually makes him lose credibility. So I think York's getting ready to answer that question. He's already put his costume on.
I think I've just answered it. No? I think I just answered it, guys. I mean, how serious would you take me if I came to, look, it depends. It really depends. Today you can be smart casual. So, and everybody accepts a pair of jeans, a nice shirt, and a little jacket. You don't need to put on a tie. But this is a call. I'm at home. I've put on a tie and a shirt. For all you know, I'm in my boxer shorts. Horrible image. But my point here is you want to, so I grew up in Italy, and in Italy, everybody dresses up. You know why they dress up? Here and there, exceptions aside, it's not because they want to look good. That's part of it. The bulk of the reason is that it's a compliment to the person you're meeting. You made an effort. So when you dress up a little bit, you're showing the other person that you're not just yet another person. You actually took the time to make a nice impression. And it's the same, guys, especially guys. You see it out there when guys and girls go on dates. The girl is beautifully dressed, the guy has a shirt loose. Guys, make a bit of effort. It says a lot about how much you care about your partner.
York, you've addressed some of this before. So Parker, I see you put your question on again. I know York has answered this. Does it matter whether you share from your personal versus your business page? York said no.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Jayshree, what do you think?
Absolutely not. I mean, like you said, companies don't buy from companies, people buy from people. So when I share on my personal pages, and I do it a lot because I have more followers on my personal pages than I do on my business page, because I've been growing my personal following for much longer than I've been growing my business following. So it's always about where you can get the most amount of credibility, as well as where you have the most amount of connections and your network. And as those dynamics change, then you can start changing where you post from. But I post on my personal pages and I just tag my business page.
Perfect. Vijay is asking, and I see Carmen also replied. So Vijay, regarding Gmail address versus a business email address. Carmen is correct. It's much more impressive, and you really can buy for 180 Rand a year or even less domains and get them linked to your email. If you don't know how, ask a young person who is at university to help us set it up for you. It's really dirt cheap. Now, I'm of the view it's not hugely crucial, but that depends on what your private email address is. If your private email address, nakedguy@gmail.com, it is a bit weird. So maybe, if you provide services, let me find a company name, for example, matchuprecruitment@gmail.com. Okay, I can live with that. But really, if you're so desperate that you don't have 150 Rand, that's okay, stick to Gmail. But even in Gmail, you can buy a domain and create an alias. That sounds a bit foreign to everybody now. And send us and receive as. And you just need literally 15 minutes time of a techie who can set it up for you. And it just adds that level of professionality.
So York, there's another question from Common. It says, if you are a coach, do you think it's better to have a business name or use your own name?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer. What do you guys think? What would you buy? Would you buy rather from a business or from an individual?
So let's hear from some of you. Put your hands up. Ashraf, why don't you tell us, what do you think?
Okay, so my visuals are not so great now. I don't know why. Maybe my battery is running down. So I look rather anonymous, which I think maybe is a wonderful segue into exactly what you're asking, okay? Because if you have a business, right, and there's this thing called influencers or ambassadors where you want other people to talk about your business. But if you as the business owner prefers to be anonymous, and therefore all blacked out like I am now, that doesn't make any sense, okay? So it's a nice Freudian thing, but I think it's expedient to show the example why. So my thought is this: I think you must have a strong business account and you must have a strong personal account, okay? And you must post regularly on both, and the messaging is similar but different. The personal account is genuinely personal, it's you. The business account has a degree of formality, or if I could say, would speak more in the business language, right? But in terms of who do people buy from, I think the best example I can quote from, and I'm going to name drop here, is Richard Branson, because I interviewed Richard Branson 3 years ago about his own business, right? And I told him, when you started Virgin Group, did you market the Virgin Group or did you market yourself, right? And he said, well, we very quickly realized in the early stages that the biggest selling point of the Virgin Group was Richard Branson. So every opportunity that I had as Richard Branson to try and get my space in the media space, I took it. When I was on a balloon ride, I took it. When I did something outrageous like putting the tie like York did now, I did it, okay? And then when the media covered me as Richard Branson, I then will digress into what I really do, which is my business. So the bottom line, what he was saying is, the biggest influencer, and influencer marketing is huge in the world right now. The biggest influencer in your business is yourself. So ultimately, people will buy from you, as you've just mentioned, Jayshree, but buying from you because they know you is different to buying from you because of all the 5 or 10 different touch points that a customer has with a business. The single most important touch point is the person who's the public face of the company. And I'm just thinking, I don't buy from Discovery, but Adrian Gore comes to mind, and ultimately that company will rise and fall on the basis of how he pushes the company up. Others give examples, and York, you mentioned soccer or football. I love sport, and sport in particular highlights it better than most. Where the football coach or the rugby coach, I'm thinking of Rassie Erasmus, or the captain of a team, ultimately the entire team rallies around those one or two people. So I think in conclusion, you must sell both, at different angles, but you must accept the fact that every opportunity you get as the front person of the company, you absolutely must take it.
Absolutely, and I want to just say, Ashraf, so thank you for that. That's spot on. And even Ashraf, who many of you may know from SAFM. He's a phenomenal human being, but I mean, he was a phenomenal radio host and who created this Champion South Africa initiative, which is brilliant, yet York still follows Ashraf more than he follows Champion. And Nankonde actually wrote something beautiful. I started with my name and I'm moving to a business name because I would like to sell my business. So guys, girls, there's no right and wrong. I do agree with Ashraf. Make it personal. And then, by the way, guys, if you don't have a company set up yet, go online. It costs you virtually nothing. At SARS, at the CIPC, or I think it's 80 Rand or 120 Rand, I forgot. You don't need to buy services. And up to a certain turnover, you don't need to do audit. And then you can, register your business. You can open a business account with Time Bank now. It costs you nothing. So I'm saying it doesn't cost you to open a business. It's just the invoices look more professional.
So York, we are live streaming on Facebook as well. And I have a comment from an ex-colleague. She says, social media sometimes feels like a full-time job. What is your advice on making it work for you without it taking over your time?
Well, I'll give it practically as what we talked about. Use something like Hootsuite. So create all the content that we discussed today. Put it in a Google Drive, in a Dropbox, in a whatever. Put it there or in a Word document. Then load it on Hootsuite and schedule it to release every 3 days. You spend 1 day a month every 3 months. And so you release your social media schedule. It doesn't cost anything for 30 posts, scheduled posts. And then the engagement. Like for example, I am known to be very highly active on social media. If you look at me, I'm less than 1 hour a day on social media. Now, 1 hour a day is little. And I don't even have WhatsApp on my phone anymore. As Jayshree found out without me, after having me forgetting to tell her. But my point here is schedule a time where you're not scrolling Facebook, where you're proactive, the Hootsuite posted something, and then a day later, 2 days later, you go onto your LinkedIn page and you scroll the comments and you reply. You spend 1 hour dedicated to that. Believe me, you don't need more than that. The problem about social media is we don't have a filter when enough is enough. So, and you don't know why you're using it. You're scrolling mindlessly. Be focused why you are on a specific platform.
Absolutely. So Harmony says, how long should I wait before sending an intro message once I've connected with a potential customer on, I'm assuming, LinkedIn?
Well, first, you're not spamming the potential customer. Like, how many of you on LinkedIn, after you connected to somebody, get a LinkedIn message, which is like 12 paragraphs long of what they're doing, what they're selling, what they're looking for? Building a relationship. So if Google and I connect on LinkedIn, maybe Google says, York, really appreciate your work, amazing stuff, keep up amazing work. Hope one day we can do business, all the best. Just build a relationship, flatter the potential clients,
Okay, well, thanks so much for that, York. So I don't see any other questions unless I've missed any. Oh, let me see. There's one that's just come through. Jayshree, you skipped my question before up there. So let me go back. Innocent.
Yeah, Innocent,
Maybe you want to copy
I'm also looking.
Maybe you want to copy and paste it to where I can find it, Innocent. Oh, he says, is it better to first call the client you want to work with or send an email as the first encounter?
I find calls somewhat intrusive. Like in this day and age, it's very easy to get somebody's WhatsApp number. And so, guys, we also be mind respectful. Don't do onto others what you don't want to be done onto you. I modified the passage from some book. Do you want to get a spammy 2-minute voice note or call from somebody randomly? Say, hey Pierre, I saw you posted this. Sorry to bother you on your personal WhatsApp. We are actually right now doing a project in that. Hence, I wanted to chat to you very briefly. Is this something you'd be interested in? If not, apologies for bothering you. Short. I know it's tempting. I used to do it as well. My first emails to potential clients The moment they expressed a little bit of interest, they didn't even express interest. The moment they accepted my connection, I slapped them with the 11 books worth of material. I sent them my PowerPoint slides, their websites, the links to my document. I never even asked them a question. I never even showed interest to them. It's like you want to get married with somebody, but you show no interest in them.
Very, very interesting analogy. So 14 bucks, I don't understand. You put a note, says the Bible and a question mark.
No, that was reference to where I got the sentence from.
Oh, where you got the sentence from. Okay, great. Okay, so I have another question here. I have a few learners who signed up onto my learning platform. I sent SMSs notifying those who had not used my website that I'm offering them one free lesson. Some didn't respond. Should I just leave those or continue sending SMSs? And this is the fine line. Hey, York, where spamming and engaging comes in, but over to you.
I mean, look, I mean, the dichotomy here is somebody signed up online to a platform and you're sending an SMS, which is like a different medium. I don't know, up to you. Why don't, you know what, guys? So Sumeka, I hope I'm saying it right, forgive me. But Sumeka, you know, this is an opportunity to actually call them and invest in research. So for example, when I launch something, I launch it to a small sample, and then I phone them and say, listen, can I just know what is wrong with what our platform is? Why is it not, are you not interested? Did you just sign up and you signed up, but it wasn't your thing? Or did you sign up, forgot about it? Can you tell me a little bit more? I would love to learn a bit more about what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right. So really go and get feedback. You won't believe how many people you start converting. Yes, it's a bit of work, but you know, guys, again, we've got to get away from that model that says, I need 10,000 people. You want 100 ambassadors. You want 10 people who love you, because those 10 people know another 10 people. And before long, you've got 10,000 people in your whatever offering you have. Don't go for numbers, go for quality. Jaysha and I keep doing business with each other since many years because we trust each other, we keep a channel of communication open, and I let her dog bite me.
So York, and just to set the record straight, York attacked my dog. He did not attack York, and I have video evidence, which I will share with anyone looking for it. And if a lawsuit comes, I've got that video evidence showing how York attacked my poor little puppy. Anyway, York, we've had an amazing, amazing afternoon with you, York. It's been so wonderful. I've learned so much. I've made copious amounts of notes, and I've already started doing some of what you've recommended. I realize we have been making some of those mistakes as well. So we have a wonderful question from Adi that I think is perfect for us to end today's session on. And the question is, what do you...
Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
Can I just do these questions there that I actually, one from Cameron and one from Pierre?
Okay,
that I just want to address, and then we can end on Adi's question.
Go for it.
So Cameron says, good question, people are not converting on free. So guys, the world is filled with freebies. If you're going to do freebie, don't. Even if it is freebie. I want you to either say, hey, everybody, for the next 48 hours only, it's going to be free, but usual price is 99 Rand. You've got to have a thing of fear of missing out. Remember, it's a theme, we talked about it. We are designed as humans. We react more to missing out than uplifting. I will make you richer. No, it doesn't work as much as the pain of becoming poorer. And so, hey, there's a course for 99 Rand. For the next 48 hours, I'm giving it to free for the first 4 people that reply, even if it's open for unlimited users. But make it exclusive, make it limited, and make it have a value. Otherwise, people free has no value. Do you know that Dropbox has what was it? I forgot the number now, so I'm going to have to research. It has 500 million users, and less than 1.6 million are paying clients. You know, just to give you an idea, free almost killed Dropbox.
That's crazy. But
regarding the Pierre question,
sorry,
how do I build a connection? Yeah, sorry, Jayshree.
Go for it. Go for it.
So Pierre said, how do I build a connection with potential clients in an area where I have no network system or don't know anybody? Pierre, it's really what we're talking about today. You are here in your area and the client's over here. Start engaging, commenting on people's. So identify, let's say I wanted to connect to Jayshree. So I start stalking her on LinkedIn and commenting on her posts. I start creating top of mind about me. And then I start, when Jayshree starts replying to my comments, I can start engaging with her. But remember, when I post on Jayshree's profile, LinkedIn shows my comments to the entire network of Jayshree. So now I've gone with my comment and I've infested, like a COVID virus, the whole of Jayshree's network.
And I mean, York, if I can just add on to that, it's important to create some thought leadership around what you want to be known for. What is it that you do? But also sharing other people's posts with a nice comment or, your insights into what you took out of their post really, really helps grow your network as well. And there's such wonderful content on LinkedIn. We could spend hours on it just sharing posts that are relevant to our community as well. So York has.
And I'm inviting, so before we end,
yes.
Somebody, who said it? Innocent. My email, I just shared my email. And please send me an email. I actually have all your emails and all your details. But what I want to do not send me an email. And I'm warning all of you, do not send me an email if you don't have the email signature done. And in that email, I want your LinkedIn URL. So I want to see your email signature and your LinkedIn URL. I'm going to click on the LinkedIn URL. And if it's shit, I'm going to comment on that publicly, that it needs work.
York, please don't threaten entrepreneurs or audience, but it's okay. I think they'll get to know you as well as I do over time. So York, is there anything else you want to add before we end with this final question from Adi?
Okay, guys, entrepreneurship is hard. Okay, you're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions. You're going to have meetings where you come out and go, yes, that was an amazing meeting. We're going to close soon. And Jayshree's seen it. And then nothing happens for 6 months. In South Africa, especially like in Italy, people talk a lot. In South Africa, you don't have bad meetings. Somebody said it the other day and I loved that saying. There's no such thing as a bad meeting because you come out thinking, yes, you're about to close a deal. So I want us to all relax a little bit, take a chill pill and say, right, it's going to take time. There's no shortcuts. That's why on my Twitter profile, I've put that, one second, what did I write on Twitter? I say the journey of a successful business is composed of thousands of tiny, almost imperceptible steps. There's no big lucky break waiting for you. So don't chase a lucky break. Rather chase the small opportunities, chase the daily progress, chase the clients or prospect rather than the big funding. There's amazing tools that if you have 10 clients and you don't have money to service those clients, in South Africa, it's called profitsharepartners.com. And you can apply to them and they'll finance you on the back of orders. And you pay a percentage out of the order. There's a lot of tools that give you finance on the back of orders, even if you're a brand new business, not funding. So I'm just saying, you're going to go through a roller coaster. It's going to be tough. You're going to feel down sometimes and depressed. And it's okay. If you feel down, if you feel like shit, if you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress, take a deep breath. Don't take it personal. It's just the market's way of giving you honest feedback. Hang out with other entrepreneurs. Explore different ways of doing things. I had to repackage the same thing that I do now. I had to repackage it 30 times before it started getting real traction. And you kind of go, but it's the same shit that I was selling 8 months ago. Why is it taking off now? And you go, because my value proposition now hit the nail on the head. I still can't figure out why, but people are reacting to a specific message. So constantly tweak, try, experiment. And if you fail, it's okay. No successful entrepreneur achieves something without failure. Just when you walk slowly and you stumble, it's easier to get up than when you're sprinting.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time, York. You are such an amazing friend to me. I love the time we spend together. You are always so inspirational, always so positive about startups and entrepreneurs, and always so willing to help and share your wisdom. So I want to end with Adi's question saying, what do you want to be known for?
What do I want to be remembered for?
Yes.
I actually don't want to be remembered, and that's not trying to answer diplomatically. I want to know that, if today some of you, something today it helped somehow, and it made you go a little bit forward. That's for me the biggest payoff in the world. When you make progress, when you are a step further in your journey than you were before the call, that to me is the biggest. Now, whether I know it or don't, it doesn't matter. In my heart, I know maybe, hopefully, some value that you got from this helped you in your ambitions. And that for me is the biggest payoff that I can have. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Maybe if 10, 15 years ago, for me, it was cool. I'm recognized in the newspapers and television. Today, I was invited on Radio 702 in South Africa. It's a popular radio station 3 weeks ago, and I declined because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to have these outbursts of egos and popularity. For me, is what am I building something that is sustainable? And so to you as well in your journeys, guys, don't get too excited by great news and don't get too down by terrible news or setbacks. Try to see each day if a client is interested in what you sell, say, okay, cool, great, let's see if I actually close a deal. Try to limit your emotional roller coaster. It doesn't mean temper your enthusiasm for life, but safeguard a little bit your emotions so that you don't go spike up and down all the time.
Well, thank you so much, York. Thanks for that, everyone. Thanks for staying online with us. Those of you that have stayed, those of you that are watching the recording, please do reach out to York on LinkedIn at York Zucchi, and please stay connected to us. So with that said, have a lovely, lovely afternoon further. And let's all keep on accessing market opportunities and growing our businesses together. Thank you, York.
Thank you, everyone. Have an
Thank
amazing
you.
week.